What's up, everybody? Great day today. I'm with my friend Dougie. Wake up with Dougie and Marky and what's our saying?
Hanging with Mark and Dougie.
Yeah, hanging with whatever you want to call it today.
Here we are. We got a table.
Oh, we're upgraded. Listen,
yeah.
we're upgrading. We spent over $11 on this whole thing today. So.
And we are working on a studio and everything else. So for those of you who know me, like, why don't you have real mics and shit? Well, these are iPhones. Okay, they're not tablets. These aren't flip phones. These aren't cricket phones. These are iPhones.
As long as we're hanging and getting the message across.
We're hanging. That's all it is. This isn't the goddamn serious radio.
We're not Howard Stern yet.
People are critiquing. What the bucket?
We're not even Daniel
We're just
Stern.
hanging right now. All right, we're just hanging. We'll set up the rest of the stuff.
Exactly.
At a later
Exactly.
time.
So we're gonna get right to the first subject right off the bat.
Yeah.
What do you think about what's going on with Deshaun Watson?
Well, that wasn't my first thing there, buddy. I thought, we said before. Deshaun Watson. We all know who he is. The quarterback of the Texans.
Yeah.
Great athlete, great player, but can't keep his dick in his pants.
That seems to be a problem.
You know, and listen, I don't know if I had billions of dollars and I had still great shape and money and stuff.
You're in great shape.
Yeah, thanks.
Come on,
Rounds of shape. Yeah. But you know, how can you turn like so many women? Like if there was a line of women coming, I want to see Mark. I want him to look at my baseball card. You'd be like, okay, you know,
That
you got a
happens, by the
girl.
way.
Yeah, I know.
That happened. I have a lot of groupies. Yeah, it's
You
I got to smack over the back.
You got a lot of sports collectors.
I don't want to say what they look like, but they're groupies.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're not quite the Deshaun Watson's caliber of groupies.
They look
that
like
I'm
they should
getting.
have a catcher's mask on.
But I don't understand it either. Like you said, I guess it's his massage. He's getting a happy ending. I think.
Not another one.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And this is what I don't get. A guy that has that much money, seems to be like an okay-looking guy. Why are these people having sexual allegations?
I love massage. I love rub and tugs. Let me tell you. First of all, these rub and tugs are the best massages you're ever going to get.
I don't know anything about them, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, you ought to go visit them. And you get, the girls step on your back and they put their toes into your spine and their heels. And this is a massage envy, some rookie coming out of massage school.
But I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you the problem I have with it. I don't have a problem because I'm a preacher boy and I'm some kind of priest. My problem is I think the SWAT team's going to come in right when I'm about ready. And I'm going to be like, oh, hey, and all of a sudden the whole SWAT team comes in there, and that's what my problem is.
It's not going to happen. And if it does,
well,
so
you better
what?
tell Robert Kraft that.
So, well, listen, I'm not Robert Kraft. It's not like,
hey, you know the beatdown we'll get at home. It's not worth it. It's like, you know when you're a kid, you don't want to get questioned because your dad will kick your ass.
Well, that's why
it's the same thing.
That's why you got to tell your wife you're going. And it's only I'm going because I need a good massage. Otherwise, I'm going to be grumpy, and then I will cheat on you with a woman that will be coming over, and then she'll want half my money. So
was it with a man at the time? Because you said with a woman. Was it? With
well, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna go back this time. I'm gonna see if they got a woman. My buddy's joke, actually, Perry. But yeah, man. I mean, look, it's easy. You leave, right? It's not like if you get a professional, right? You got to find a place to go. You're gonna get a prostitute. You got to go somewhere. That means you got to get a hotel, which means you got to use a credit card.
But you don't. This guy's a multi. Who gets a credit? He has houses.
Not married, is he?
I don't know if he's married, but he has houses.
He molested
everywhere.
a massage girl?
Yes.
He's like, grab it harder.
But it's not one massage girl. It's like 30 of them.
But how can you do something wrong to a woman who's going to do something wrong?
I think these were professional masseuses. These were like NFL licensed masseuses.
That's different.
Yeah, this wasn't a rub and tug. This was an NFL licensed masseuse. Like he had a football injury, but his football injury wasn't quite where he wanted done.
Like in other words, like sometimes if you don't know if it's going to be,
he had a pulled hamstring, not a pulled penis.
All right, yeah. Well, he wanted it pulled. But that's the thing. Like sometimes if you go to like a legitimate massage place and they put the towels over, and you're like, I'm not used to a towel. I usually lay on the bed naked.
But I know nothing about this.
Yeah,
this
but then they pull the towel on you, and they cover you, and you feel like you're about to be mummified.
So what's gonna happen to this guy?
Sometimes maybe that's what he's doing. He's leaving his thing hang out. Yeah. He's like, oh, how'd that happen? And then, oh, well, I don't want to touch it. Come on, touch it. Just touch it. I mean, I don't know. Just find a better masseuse.
But let me ask you a question now. What's gonna happen to him? By Robert Kraft, they made a big deal about it. Robert Kraft, they wanted to put him in jail, and they talked about underage prostitution. What are they going to do to Deshaun Watson? Is he going to get the same treatment as Robert Kraft is what I'm getting at? And it's not one. It's not one.
Isn't it different, though, because he's a player, not an owner? Isn't there a bit of a difference?
I don't think so.
And he's an old man versus a young man.
Exactly. I mean, at his age, he should do whatever the hell he wants to do.
That should be something you get, like, if you go to a nursing home, you ask for, I want somebody to feed me, clean me, help me go to the bathroom, and, of course, pull my butt.
Exactly. But what is going to happen to him? What do you think should happen to him? I mean, if he has allegations of that, but listen, it's not.
But where are these allegations coming from? First of all, like
40 women.
Like some of these things, like even what happened with Cuomo, right? Like, oh, he hugged me and it didn't feel right. That's a little bullshit to me, you know, because some people a little more, and then a hug is sexual, like, you know what I mean? Who doesn't hug?
Well, no, there's a famous comedian. I can't think who the comedian is. He says only sexual harassment if you're ugly. Like Brad Pitt, it can never be sexually harassed.
Accuse him.
You know, me forget about Brad Pitt. No one's ever gonna say Brad Pitt touched me inappropriately or Denzel Washington. So if you're ugly, it's sexual harassment. If you're good looking, you know, you can get away with it.
So what Mark is saying, everybody, if you want to find out if you're ugly or good looking, just grab a girl that you know.
I didn't say, by the way.
Yeah,
I did not say that.
Yeah,
all right, let's get to another subject because that one's going to get me in trouble.
All right, so Deshaun Watkins, what's his name?
Deshaun Watson. I believe they should get rid of him. Boom, done.
All right. Well, yeah, he's trouble. I mean, listen, when you're at that level, you have to be careful.
Listen, if you get to a point where you're making that kind of money, you don't need to do stupid things, man. Life is good. Just enjoy it.
But that's what happens when when everything is so easy. You can't help but slip up. It's when things are hard. You're busting your ass. You get your nose to the grind. You try to do things right. But when everything's going great, oh yeah, come on.
I think you think you're above the law. I think you think you're above the law.
Yeah, of course. I think that's also possible. While we're on the subject, you mentioned Edelman.
Yeah.
The receiver for the Patriots.
I love him.
I love the underdog.
He's tough as nails.
Listen, I was a goalkeeper in soccer. I played collegiate.
You were a damn good one.
He was probably the top goalie in the country in the youth leagues. And I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
And a goalie's supposed to be 6'3".
You can jump.
I can't jump now. You can't even slip a magazine under my feet. but back then, so I'm always for the guy. Like Edelman's what?
Edelman's like 5'10".
5'10" for
a
receiver.
For a receiver, that's very rare.
And the guy had hands. Because you could be tall and jump up and fumble it around and not even catch it.
He was fast.
And quick.
You know what he had? I'll tell you what he had. He had Tom Brady. I'll make it real simple. He had Tom Brady. Listen, not taking anything away from Edelman. He was tough as nails. He took big hits. He made great catches. But you put Cam Newton thrown to him, he's terrible. He's a terrible player. Tom Brady made a lot of great players. But listen, Edelman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'll say it right now. You said maybe not. I think he does belong in the Hall of Fame.
Somebody said that the only way he's getting in is if he buys a ticket.
I don't think so. He had like 9,000-yard seasons. He was a great receiver. And you know what? I like that he knew to get out. Some players, they like Ali, they stayed too long. He knew to get out. Barry Sanders, went out on top. Going out on top, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, listen, going back with all the injuries I have now, I wish I quit when I was in middle school. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a receiver and you're under 6 foot and you've got good numbers, that is dealing with adversity.
Hey, put him in the Hall.
Put him in the Hall. And, hey, he's a white guy, so.
That's another tough. I don't know what that meant either, but
he's a receiver and he's a white guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's like when you watch a boxing match now and there's a white guy in there, you go, "Oh my God, this guy had no options." You know what I mean? Like you feel bad, like because you got to be tough. Like to get the eye of the tiger, be a fighter. You have to come from. You have to have no other choice.
Yeah.
You got to say, "Look, I've got to learn to kick some ass."
And the funny thing is, he started as a quarterback. He was, I believe, he was Jewish, Edelman, but he started out as a quarterback. You don't see a lot of famous Jewish athletes. No. You really don't. I mean, Sandy Koufax, Hank Greenberg, Edelman. I mean, there's not many of them. Yeah. And he started as a quarterback, so he switched positions. Now, listen.
And here come the Brooklyn Lawyers.
Going back to Brooklyn, now we talk about Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets. That team, I don't know how they're right now they have 17 losses. They got Kevin Durant, they got James Harden, they got LaMarcus Aldridge, they got Kyrie Irving. They have an all-star team in every position. Their bench is an all-star team.
It's even better than the Magic 3 that came to Miami.
Yes, right? way better.
It's just stacked. The thing about the NBA, nobody wants to. They want to play with everybody. They all want to win. They all want to play, and there's no depth. Like, how many good teams are there now?
What they should be doing is like the Harlem Globetrotters, the Generals. They should be bouncing the ball off people's heads and throwing water in the air. But that's not going to happen. I'll tell you why it's not going to happen. Because they all have egos and they all have to score. And that's the problem. That's the reason why they're not going to win a championship. I'm telling you right now.
You don't think they're going to win it?
No.
Because the Heat didn't win it when they all got together. Remember, they got to the finals.
But I don't think that Heat team was that great. Because Bosh, I'm being honest with you. LeBron, a beast. Wade, a beast. Bosh,
He was a little timid. He was a
Yeah,
little.
Bosh didn't have that big body. He didn't grab the boards. He was like a 3-point shooter, 7 foot tall. And then you got Ray Allen was at the end of his career. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a team like this team. It wasn't a team like the Golden State Warriors and some of those other teams. But
so how bad is it if you have that much talent and you don't win?
well, you have to have chemistry. I mean, you have to have chemistry. Look, here's a perfect
Like
example.
us.
Exactly.
Brooklyn Nets
We're
are
getting
anything
better,
like us.
actually. But here's a perfect example. The Buccaneers. The Buccaneers sucked balls. I hate to say that word, but they for years and years and years, for 20 years. And here is a 43-year-old man comes in there and wins a Super Bowl.
Lights it up.
But you know why? He handled all the egos. Oh, Mike Evans and Godwin and all these players. He handled the egos, and that's what
You love Tom Brady.
I
right?
do love him. Man.
If you would sleep with him, I mean, think about it. You seem like
I
you're
probably
really,
wouldn't sleep with him now. Maybe a hand.
Maybe.
Hey, no, I'll tell you.
Talk about this.
I'll tell you why I would sleep with him. You know why? Because I'd have a phone call afterwards and say, listen, Tom, I got some damaging information on you. We need to talk right now, you know. I need $20 million in my account. Now, I admire Tom Brady. I'll tell you why I admire him, because the people don't realize this about Tom Brady. He's a very giving person. He's like the 20th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I mean, Dak Prescott makes 4 times more than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's never been a top paid quarterback. He always takes less money to bring more players in, and he proved Bill Belichick was a fraud. So I love it.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, it's
like
a win-win-win.
I don't care for
And by the way, Brady's won me a lot of money.
Yeah.
He won me this money this year when I bet him 12-1.
Now we're finding out where
exactly. When someone
where
puts
the
money in my
grease is.
pocket, exactly. So I am a big Brady fan.
All right. All right, so let's talk about the. You had the vaccine.
I did.
You had the second Pfizer.
I did get Pfizer. The first one, beautiful. I got the shot, doing jumping jacks. Life was good. Everything. Life was good the first one, okay? 17 days later, I got the second one. And I'll tell you what, as soon as I got the shot, it was good. I was running around doing what I normally do.
You weren't doing jumping jacks?
Well, not jumping jacks, but that night, I felt like I drank a bottle of Captain Morgan. My head was like boom, boom, boom. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep the next morning. I couldn't get out of bed. I'm like, okay, time to go to work. I jumped in the shower and I'm like, went right back to bed. I literally could not get out of bed. But the day after, fine. So the moral of the story is you will get beat up for one day. But, you know, it's funny because my dad's 80 and my dad didn't have any symptoms at all. And I was obliterated.
Well, your dad's not in love with Tom Brady.
Man, you think that's the reason why?
I think that's
you think
why.
this is all linked
You got
to
that.
vaccine
You
side?
got that estrogen running through you, and you're like, I love him so much, I'm gonna become a pussy.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah. Well, you know, the J&J, which was a favorite one because it only had one shot.
Okay.
Just one. Basically had some issues we heard today, and they pulled it.
The one issue that kills you. That's about
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah.
Small issue.
Well, one person died out of 6, but it's a women. There's blood clotting issues.
1 out of 6. That's not too bad.
By the way, that happens with Pfizer. You start getting your period. That can happen sometimes.
We'll see what happens.
Pfizer vaccine, a guy, you start getting your period.
That's happened already for me.
Yeah, but they're pulling it. So there's a lot of people that got the Johnson.
So let me ask you a question.
They're like nervous, like, oh shit. But if it's been a few days or a week, you're probably okay. And if you're not a woman,
Did you get
or
a shot
Tom
already?
Brady fan. No, I'm not getting it. At the moment.
Are you not going to get it?
I had it. I'm like,
A lot of people are really torn on the vaccine. Let me tell you how I feel about
it's
it.
distrust.
It's destructive. It is. But I'll tell you how I feel about it. I have my mom has diabetic issues. My dad's he's in his 80s, but he's in good shape and everything. I kind of did it for them. I'm kind of COVID. I'm all over the place with. Do I think it's real? Yes, I think it's real. Do I think it is what everybody makes it to be? No. And listen, there's people smoking cigarettes and eating hamburgers and doing all these things that are going to kill them a lot quicker. Texting and driving that have no worries about anything in the world, but they're worried about COVID. You know, it's like 99.9% is a pretty good ratio, you know, in anything in life.
Yeah, 99% survival rate. Yeah, it's you know, listen, 500,000 people died, over 500,000 people died, and
Is that in the United States? 500,000 United States?
yes, yeah, and
Out of 350.
I think over 2 million, 2 million people have died around the globe.
But let me ask you a question: how many?
But there's too many people anyway.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the thing. Listen, everybody gets.
I'd say
This is the Illuminati cleaning house.
Exactly.
If anything, if anybody wants to say, what are we going to do? Here's what everybody on Earth needs to do: get your shit in order, get healthier, get smarter, get cleaner, get richer. The tide is rising. You know, like when people are running. This is funny. Like when people say, "Oh, if you ever get chased by a bear, just be faster than the guy next to you."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So life is chasing us, man. That's what I think.
Well, they say play dead with a bear. I can't see that me doing that. Can you imagine a bear come at you like, okay?
Are you going to have the confidence?
Yeah, I'll tell you
play
what.
dead?
Yeah, but people say that. I'm like,
oh my God, Mark's really looks dead.
I'm going to be dead, running with shitting my pants on the floor. I'm not lying down and letting this bear molest me. I'm just not doing it.
One of those moments in life, right? You're not supposed to run. You're supposed to play dead.
Yep. Well, the same thing with a shark. Punch a shark in the face.
Yeah, or if you're by a pit bull, I recently heard that if you stick your finger up a pit bull's ass, it stops a pit bull from biting.
Just your finger?
Just whatever appendage you have free at the moment.
I either have a very mad pit bull or a very happy pit bull, depending if he's transgender or what gender neutral thing he is.
How do you feel about yourself? even though my pit bull's got balls, he identifies as a lady dog. He thinks those are just paperweights.
But this is how I feel about COVID, to be honest with you. I'm going to take precautions on it, I'm going to take precautions on it, and whatever happens, happens. But our people, listen, we know that there has been deaths, but they talk about DMX might have died of he was doing heroin. You think it was the heroin?
Was he doing heroin?
Yeah, he was doing heroin. I think the heroin killed him. What do you think? Do you think it was the COVID or the heroin?
Listen, anytime you introduce heroin into the system,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't like cocaine, like, people that do cocaine all the time. And it just deteriorates your body's mechanisms.
Yeah.
Fat. You have no how do you say, no defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It tears down all your
I think anything you do too much could be bad.
We know people that have been doing drugs a long time that are our age, and we see them, we think they're their father or mother now.
Oh my God.
Right? You look at them like, holy shit, where's Bill?
But I've actually seen some videos of women that were very attractive women. They show them on meth like a month later, not even years later, like a month later, they're like, a wreck, and then they get off and they get clean again.
And people don't realize that. You know what I mean? Like I'll admit, I did cocaine, and then it was easy because it was like too many things happening. I'm like, I can't deal with this. I can't.
You know what's funny about this whole thing that we're talking about? In California, you have to wear a mask and you have to be 6 feet away and you have to be this. But you can shoot heroin in the park.
Yeah.
But and if you don't have a needle, don't worry about it. They'll give you one. They'll give you a needle. But let's worry about being 6 foot away from this guy. But the heroin guy shooting needles, you can be 2 feet away. So it's just crazy how much the hypocrites in California or liberal America. It's insane because now you can take something serious, but you don't have to take it over it. Though.
You mentioned homeless, and you mentioned you didn't mention it, but the refugee. Did you hear how Biden is thinking about stepping up the building the wall a little?
Please, I try not to. I'll be honest with you. My life is so good.
Maybe we
no. Let's talk
early
about
to judge stopping the wall.
But here's the funny thing about it. I turned the news off November 9th. I turned the news off, so I don't know what's going on anymore. To be honest with you, and my life is so much better, by the way.
Yeah.
But I don't pay attention when he walked into a room like 2 months ago and he didn't know what room he was in. I don't want to listen to him anymore.
Yeah,
he literally didn't know where he was at. I watched him sign a piece of paper and say, "What am I signing?" Like, he doesn't even know. So my life is better without watching news. But tell me what happened, because I want to know.
Well, no, I mean, listen, it wasn't a crisis. It was a challenge. It's amazing how words can change a scenario. It's the same pictures we're looking at, but which once was an issue, right? Like a travesty is now just a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff like that. By the way, if you are into the cryptocurrencies, tomorrow the company called Coinbase is about to come out.
Big news.
And it's going to be on the NASDAQ, and everybody wants to get into it. Basically, you know what Coinbase is?
A little bit, not as much as you, but go ahead.
It's a company basically that will buy and sell all different types of cryptocurrency, store it for you, and they're going to have other things like that. They'll be able to, you store it, you can use it, they give you a Visa card with it.
I don't get cryptocurrency, to be honest with you. People have explained it to me. I just don't get it. I don't get it yet. I don't know the semantics of it. So, I have to learn a little bit more about it, to be honest with you. It's
a lot of people are worried about it. The U.S. people worried about the U.S. dollar being unpegged as the global currency, and China's trying to come in there with their little basket of cryptocurrencies. And if China does that, by the way, they will also be able to stop you. Like, they'll be able to shut down that blockchain that takes your money.
Wow.
So it's an amazing, scary thing we're looking at. But everybody else in the world, just go out there and worry about masks.
Yeah,
whether
exactly.
your person's wearing a mask, worry about all kinds of shit. And let's get back, because now we know Minneapolis, right? Minnesota's about to explode. They're dealing with the case with Chauvin, the guy who killed
Chauvin with Floyd.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, put emotion aside, everybody. I had a little legal background, pre-legal. I was going to go to law school and everything. I had law pre-law, and I have a lot of lawyer friends. And the reasonable doubt is, a lot of people don't want to hear it, but there's some reasonable doubt on how he actually died. yesterday, I guess one of the kids.
I mean, he had drugs in his body, fentanyl. Fentanyl's a pretty deadly drug.
Yeah.
You know, he had COVID and he had fentanyl. I think the fentanyl was worse than the COVID, and I think the combination of listen, is he an idiot, Derek Chauvin? Of course he's an idiot. But do you think he really wanted to kill Floyd? Of course not. He's got everybody watching him, first of all. Cameras everywhere.
Well,
he's sitting there and he's smiling to the camera. He's an idiot, yes. But is he a murderer? No. He's not a murderer. He's just an
the
idiot.
difference within a murder case. If you predetermined it, then it's murder too, right? Isn't it something like that?
Yep.
Like if you plan it and all that kind of shit. It could be manslaughter, which is reckless disregard. Like you and I are in a fight, and I start choking you, and I'm like, "You fucker," and then I kill you. I didn't plan on the fight, but I should have shown a little more.
And that's probably what he should get. But what might happen is they might overcharge him, and that's how things happen. And that's how people get off.
That's what happened with Casey Anthony.
Yep, Casey Anthony.
They tried to get Casey Anthony, and they should have went for manslaughter.
And that's probably the problem. They're going to try and go. It's such a heavy case that who knows what's going to happen from this.
Well, it's scary. And then while this is all going on, just blocks away, yesterday another police shooting that kills a young black man.
No one cares. No one cares.
Well, Minnesota's in uproar. I mean, everybody out there right
now.
now.
Oh, you're talking about a white man killing a black person.
Yeah, it was a woman actually, a white woman cop, I believe, shot this black man.
Yeah.
And
is that the one where they gave him a lawful order several times, and he kind of not saying I don't know the case to say someone was wrong or someone was right. But let me tell you something: if someone has a gun, whether they're a firefighter, a stripper, I don't care what they do, a rugged tug person. If she pulls a gun on me and I'm sitting there naked, I'm gonna listen to her. No matter what, let me tell you. Let me give you some advice. Not that you want my advice anyway, but if someone has a gun, listen. Just listen, and then deal with it later on. You go to court with everything else.
I want to change the thing about gun. As somebody with authority,
yes,
has a gun. And listen, this is easy for us to say we're white, right? And but
I think it's easy to say for any color.
I think. Well, listen.
You think it's a black and white thing?
I do believe that police treat black people differently. I think there's an assumption. I think there's some of the cops are, of course, it's already been proven it happens. But it doesn't do any good if people are just going to keep going out there. Yeah, I'm not going to listen to you. Fuck you. And they walk away from the.
You know why I think some of the people are treated differently? And I have friends that are black that are poor. I have friends that are black that are rich. I know people, And if you act right, 99%
say act white,
act white or right, but if you act right, if you listen and you pay attention to. Let me tell you a quick story about me, real quick, and then we'll get past. I had the same issue in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta, okay? I had an orange Hummer and I was driving, and I got pulled over by the cops. It was like 2 a.m. And they put the little red dot on my head, and they're like, "Get down, MF," and blah blah blah. And you know what I did? I didn't say "fuck you," show me your warrant. I got on the ground. They handcuffed me. They put me back up. They brushed me off and told me it was a mistake.
Now let me just add this: because you're white, in the back of your mind, you don't really have that overwhelming fear that they're going to kill you.
Oh, I had a fear. When you see a red dot in your head, let me tell you, this white privilege bullshit. I hate to get into this, and I don't want to get into it, but this white, it's all bullshit, dude. It's all bullshit.
So, in other words, if you're in that scenario and a cop's got a gun drawn on you and tells you to get
I am just as scared.
You're scared.
Of course.
You're not going, I'm white.
Listen, no, hell no.
But if you're black, you're thinking, oh, this is not going to go well at all. Like,
but listen, I'm white as they come, and I was scared.
But all the more reason to comply, right?
Comply.
It's always unfortunate to me when I hear these stories because you don't. It's not that again. It's not nobody deserves to die over a traffic stop.
I mean, Siobhan was wrong. I mean, he should do time. But I agree.
Yeah, but it's always about what could I have done? What could I have done to de-escalate
the situation
or change the potential outcome? And it's so hard, right? To do. Look, and
it's like your wife yelling at you and she's screaming. You can just yell at her back. You can say, "Honey, you're right." Now you need to screw a woman up. Just tell her she's right.
Yeah.
She can yell at you all she wants. You say, "Honey, you know what? I didn't think of it that way. You're right." It's over with. Yeah. But that's the same way you have to handle a situation.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. Now, remember the kid who got shot who lived? He was paralyzed.
Yes. Gray. Wasn't that Gray?
Yeah. Supposedly he sexually assaulted somebody, his ex-girlfriend at the house.
Yep. Yes. Oh no, that was Blake. No, Blake was the one who got shot in Wendy's.
Yeah. Anyway, so this kid goes back. The cops asked him to come over here
3 or 4 times.
He goes walking around That's just like, it's like the same idea as like, I'm not going to cross that street with my eyes closed.
No.
I'm not going to add any element of risk, you know what I mean, to my scenario.
You know what part of the problem is, Doug, do you remember when you were younger? I know it was a long time ago, and I know But do you remember when you were younger, you had respect for your teachers, you had respect for police, you had respect for your grandparents. No one has any respect anymore. You even watch videos on YouTube, the pranks where they're throwing water on people. No one has respect for anybody anymore. And that's part of the issue with today's culture. Today's culture has no respect, man. And I think that's part of the problem.
It's beat or be beaten.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
Did you get paddled in school?
I got paddled once.
Yeah. In middle or high school?
In middle school.
Yeah. Mr. Brown?
I got paddled by Dean Brown.
Dean Brown. I'll tell you what.
No, actually, I got
Drysdale?
by the big guy. Was his Hall? Was that big white guy that came later? Redneck guy?
I don't remember him. I remember Drysdale. Hall? Was there Hall?
Remember the middle school big white guy?
You had Drysdale. You had Brown. But you want to laugh? I got paddled. I didn't set a school on fire. I might have just been late to class. I mean, there was discipline. You know what? I went home. My dad goes, "You probably deserved it."
Yeah.
It wasn't like
So your parents were like, "I'm gonna go talk to this
No,
school."
not at all.
See, back then, parents would always do that. Bad parents, you come home, so you got in trouble. Like, I remember the cops picked us up one time. We were like running around a construction site and stuff. So we got there, and the first thing, the parents said, "What did you do?" My mom,
Exactly.
"What did you do? What the fuck?" And smacked me in the head and put me in. They don't want the kid nowadays. The parents, well, what did my kid do? What do you mean? What'd your kid do? Your kid's
an asshole.
Everybody, why would you defend your kid? Like when I coach soccer, the kids are fine. Kids are kids, but the parents are pain in the ass. Then why is my kid?
I won't steal anything. You know why I won't steal? When I was in 8th grade, maybe. I might have been 9th grade, actually. It was 9th grade. It was the first year of high school. As a matter of fact, I don't know who I was with, but I stole the Talking Heads 8-track. That's how long ago it was, in Kmart. I stole the Talking Heads 8-track. That's how long ago it was, in 79, 80, whatever the year was. The Kmart police, whenever they have the little security, they put me in a room. The little blue light police, little blue light special. They put me in a room, and I said, put me in jail. I'll do whatever you gotta do. Just don't call my dad. Whatever you got. I'm 10 years. Okay, 10 years. I'll do it. I didn't want my dad to know that I took anything. And you want to laugh? They called my dad the worst thing I ever do. I still remember the ass whooping I got and deserved. And you know what? I will never ever take anything again from that day.
I remember being in the cop car with my friends, going, "All right," and then they said, "We got to call your parents." I'm like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
that was it. I
whole different ballgame. You had respect. I still scared of my dad.
Respect for my parents, respect for my father, was what kept me from screwing up. I had 3 older brothers that screwed up.
Yep.
So I got to see it. So
I screwed up.
But you're right. They respect my authority.
Exactly.
Listen, we're not saying take it in the ass. We're not saying, be anybody's bitch. We're talking about make rational decisions.
Yes.
Nobody wants to die. I don't want to see anybody get
shot. And if
shot.
a cop is wrong, deal with it later on.
Yeah.
Film it and get his badge.
Just keep the audio, put your thing on
Yes.
audio, be kind, and then you can go to the damn,
Hey, do you ever
go to the
see-
city police, go, here was your officer being a complete asshole, and deal with it. Handle it the way
And you'll get more of a response doing it that way.
More importantly, you'll be alive.
Yeah, exactly.
To report
You ever
it.
see Chris Rock's video? How to not get beat up by the police. That's one of the fun. If you haven't seen it, as soon as you're done with this podcast, get on it. How to not get beat up by the It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Chris Rock's a genius.
I think. Listen, here's the idea of the show. If you guys start sending in money on, no, I'm like, we're gonna get a studio. We're gonna do this thing right. And then eventually I'm moving. I don't know if I'm moving out of Florida.
Right.
So we're gonna
we
be
do a little.
Zoom
Hey,
thing.
they got a thing that you can be in different places now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. Technology. Hey, I remember when we were kids, you got a pen watch. That was technology. It's like it's a pen, it's a watch. It's
Remember
a
that?
pen, I mean,
Remember the pens?
We've come a long way.
Remember how the pens used to have the multiple colors on it?
Yes.
Remember, you're like, oh my god, I have
press
one
the different
pen.
colors, blue and
Oh my god, can I do all of them? I want all of them.
If you think about how much technology we've had over just our lifetime, is amazing. I remember actually getting up to change the channel without a remote. And I remember, like, you had the UHF commercial and the UHF shows and all that.
Remember the days where you had to get up to change the channel?
Yeah.
That was the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing. With that technology, you become more of a bitch. Like, I don't want to watch that.
Oh, yeah,
When you had to get up off the couch to change the channel, you're like, I guess
But you're
I'll
used
watch.
to it. You know what? It wasn't technology because we were used to it. It's like in my lifetime, we've had so many different things that kids today are. I mean, with beepers, we didn't have. I remember my first cell phone I had. It was like an army tank. It was this high first
You
of
look
all.
like you're on the
it costs
out in
like
the field.
$89 a minute. So you better be calling somebody that you really want to call.
You look like you're on the beach of Dunkirk.
Exactly.
Trying to get the hell out of there.
But technology's come a long way, man. From the beeper.
What do you
and all
think the
that.
next big thing is going to be? What do you think
What else
it
is there to do? Everything's been accomplished.
I mean, artificial intelligence. You think people are going to be strapped on to things and just roaming around in their mind? You think people are going to be, you know?
I don't know. Maybe this vaccine is that already. Maybe we haven't. Maybe they're spying on
you
us.
got stuff put in you. You got little.
But you want to know something?
Nanotech.
Do you want to know something? It's kind of funny. They're listening to us as it is because the other day I was home. Me and my girlfriend were talking about a trip to Italy, whatever it was, and Siri was lighting up. It was turning purple and blue and green as I was talking. It's kind of, guys, if Siri's on, do not talk about anything. Within 5 minutes of me getting done with our conversation, we had all these coupons for Italy, hotels and this.
You don't have Alexa and that shit at the house, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
No Alexa, none of that stuff.
But you know, you can shut it off. You can shut it off as you. But I'm telling you, it listens to you. It's really funny, man. It's amazing. Technology is amazing. You know, it really is, man.
I don't know. I just think that I think the next big technology thing is to realize that we won't be able to go outside. Pretty soon.
That's right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have all this stuff, and you're going to want to live, and you're going to vicariously live through the internet.
But that's the scary thing, you know. You go to like a restaurant or a dinner, and no one talks to each other anymore. Even and I'm guilty, but I'm always saying, you know, these damn things. And me and my girlfriend next to each other, we're looking at different things. We're not even talking. I think even during sex we do that. I'm like, oh, okay, hold on, honey.
Hold on a second.
I'm looking at porn at the same time.
Text.
But it's funny. No one has a connection.
How many
anymore.
people you see driving in the car when you're driving on the
Texting?
Everybody.
Everybody. And I think that's going to kill more people than COVID.
Our next show, we're going to be on the car, and we're going to drive with
exactly. And it's funny because people are so worried about certain things that the chance of killing you are slim. And then meanwhile, like you said, Kentucky Fried Chicken has a sandwich with all bacon, all chicken, all fried foods, and all this. You're hungry right now. But it's funny how people are worried about one thing and not another. You know, it's really crazy.
Reminds me like when Obama had the health care. You know, everybody. You know, to me, when I look around, I'm like, we don't need better health care. We need people to be healthier.
Yeah.
The reason why healthcare is so expensive is because kids are eating these Hot Pockets, and the parents don't give a shit about nutrition, and that's why you got to spend $1 million on the kid by the time he's 19 because he's got 3 nipples.
And the kids don't. No, it's worse than that, Doug. Worse than that, kids don't do any exercise.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids.
No more PE.
Dude, when we were know what they had the other day? Do you remember Bombardment?
Yeah.
How fun was that game? Let me tell you what Bombardment was. It was 2 bowling pins and it was a free for all. It was pretty much you get to kill
a line in the middle.
You had a line in the middle and it was dodgeball on steroids.
2 balls, right? 2 of those
heavy balls. Yeah, heavy balls. And you had kids that were man-childs that threw like Jimmy Clark. They threw like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you know, and let me tell you something. That was fun. I used to look forward to Bombardment.
You know why that was important for kids? Because you learned where you were. Like you kind of get an idea where you were at. You know what I'm saying? You kind of knew when you were weak, you were strong, and things like that. And you either changed it or you accepted it. Now everybody's good, we're okay, you're just as good as that guy. And then you get in real life when mom ain't there, and you eat a dick in front of everybody and you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Listen, everybody, we're going to kind of wrap this up right now. This has been great. I love what we do. Doug, when's your next show?
This Thursday in Boca Raton at the Beer Garden. I'm going to be there with Monique Marvez, and then Saturday I'm going to be in Cocoa Beach at Gregory's Comedy Club. I'm your headliner, and Jen Hellman.
If you haven't got a chance to see this gentleman, he's very, very funny. Like I very enjoy his comedy. It's very, very funny. Also, me, I'm doing what I always do. I have my new shop, Cash for Collectibles. I'm buying and selling everything. Right now, the hobby is amazing. It's just a great hobby right now. And guys, you can make a lot of money doing this. Yeah, go to your flea markets, go to your thrift stores and your pawn shops and all this, and buy inventory. The stuff's out there. The internet was your friend. It will tell you what things are worth, and I will buy them.
I just dropped off a bunch of baseball cards.
Yes, yeah.
You know, you're going to go through them.
I'm going to go through them right now.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something right now. The hobby's great, and I'm here to help. So if you got something, don't be afraid to call me, 770-355-9400. We're buying on site. Guys, thanks a lot. Doug, it's been a blast. I will see you next week.
See you next
Boom.
week, guys. Ciao.